club, yo! It's loud, it's hot, it's packed. Everybody's dancing, sweaty, sexy. I don't know her. She comes up to me. I'm 40, she's not. I'm not gay, not totally straight. She's there with her 20-something friends. My friends have all gone home to partners and kids. There's no way I'm calling it. I'm down for this night. So we're dancing and kissing, and suddenly, everybody's up there. And I realize I'm on the floor. Have I been drinking, you might ask? Yeah. Could this have contributed to the situation? Probably. Is that the whole story? No. Correct. My leg stopped working 2 months ago because I have MS. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but multiple sclerosis is a Latin term meaning God breaking your legs one day at a time. I'd like him to finish the job and stop jerking me around. It's confusing for me because MS is often an invisible disability. So people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, Karin, you look great." And I'm like, "Don't be so superficial." Should judge me on the inside, or my nervous system is deteriorating. You can laugh, it's okay. I have a type of MS called relapse-remitting MS. It's the most popular kind. And what that means for me is that out of nowhere, my legs stop working. That's a relapse. And then, however many weeks later, they start working again. That's the remit. But with every recovery, my legs are just that bit weaker, and that is the excruciatingly slow path to disability. That's God breaking your legs one day at a time. So 2 months before this club night out, it's 2018, my PhD is due. I've been successfully not finishing it for 10 years. Yes. I am sure they're gonna chuck me right out of this program. I am stressed, out of nowhere. Massive relapse. I don't turn my PhD in. I switch into relapse mode. 6 days a week, I sit on my couch. I'm too tired to shower. I feel gross. I stuff my face with whatever might make me feel better. I get drunk by myself every night. 1 day a week, I haul my ass into the university where I work, propelled by a lot of caffeine. I wear running shoes to help me walk. I tell people I have a sports injury. I don't tell people at work that I have MS. People with MS are often still encouraged not to tell employers because that's the world of discrimination that we're all living in. Now, usually my relapses last for 6 weeks, but this one, it's been 2 months waiting to get my legs back. I looked at my journal entries leading up to this club night out. One of them said, "I hate everything. I want an end that I find difficult to articulate." The other journal entry said, "A bit suicidal. I think it's well articulated." So after 2 months of this relapse, I've lost all patience for it. My friends are going out, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going dancing, with or without my legs. It started with, followed by without. There I was, on the dance floor. My legs had collapsed. To be clear, at the club, if you're gonna go low, it should be sexy. Not an emergency. People are dancing all around me. I'm so wasted that I'm just gliding through this total public failure of my body. I don't know what to do. I don't tell people I have MS. I look up at the girl and say, my legs don't work. Like a club angel, she reaches down from the crowd. She picks me up. She walks me to the benches that are along the sides of the dance floor. I think she's going to leave me there like party roadkill. But she stays, and not consoling me. Oh, wah, poor you. Oh, no. She puts her foot up on the bench, and she's dancing and grinding up on me. And I'm like, this is the most inclusive club experience of my life. She doesn't just accept me, she desires me. She sees me in a way that I don't know how to see myself. I've had MS for 20 years, and I tell myself I'm fine with it, but really, I'm just used to it. I still find it difficult to feel positive about myself and about my life. And I love to think about this club angel. I want to see myself the way that she saw me, like a hot piece of ass. I wake up the next morning with a big hangover. The phone rings. It's my father. He's barely comprehensible. He keeps saying over and over, it should have been me. It should have been me. My mother is in Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. I rush over to the ER, and I find her there. She's lying in a bed, unconscious. 7 months ago, January 2025, I wake up in a super bad mood because I've been off MS medication for 10 years. And today, I'm going back on them. And I don't know how much of my wellness I'm about to give up. Now, for the first 10 years of my MS, I was on and off of a drug that makes you feel like you have the flu 1 day a week and makes you feel like you're recovering from a flu all the time. I always felt down. Side effects of that drug are depression and suicidal ideation. Correct. You see, this drug is very safe. It won't kill you, but you might kill you. That's a loophole, right? So I decided to start this new medication because my neurologist has convinced me that if I go on it, I might never have to take MS meds again. This is the only cell that will work. Apparently, it resets my immune system. Now, MS is an autoimmune disorder, and so this drug has basically killed off part of my immune system. The idea is, as my body builds it back up, that my immune system is going to stop attacking my brain and my spine. Fingers crossed. So I start taking the pills. First couple days, I'm like, no problem. You got this. Third day in, bam, total overwhelming fatigue. This worries me because Fringe season is around the corner and I've got a show to write. I'm already nervous about doing the show because talking about MS, it's still new to me. The other side effect of this drug is that it's giving me crazy, vivid dreams. I'm going to tell you my dreams through the show. And they're going to tell us my anxieties about doing this show. To be clear, is not stuff that I would tell you, but my unconscious is an open book. Now, my dreams are also going to tell us whether or not I'm well enough to write this show while I'm undergoing this new medical treatment. You ready for dream number one? February 2025, week 3 of my treatment. You know, a lot of people have that dream where they're walking down the street naked, right? I don't have that. I have dreams where I'm going to the bathroom in front of people. Sorry. So I'm in the middle of a library peeing. And I'm in a wheelchair and there's no toilet, but it makes sense because it's a dream. And the library has balconies that go up and up and up and up, just like a theater. So I'm doing this vulnerable, private act in front of an audience. Okay, so the dream's about the show, I get it. Now it gets interesting. I stand up from the wheelchair, and I'm afraid that everyone's judging me for being able to walk. And so I lean on the wheelchair and I pretend to limp behind it. But in the dream, my legs are tired. I know what this dream is about. I'm afraid that you're going to think I'm not disabled enough to tell this story. Now, this story begins in 2005. I'm 28 years old. I'm in school for graphic design. It's the end of the academic year, exams, final critiques, lots of stress out of nowhere. I wake up one morning and everything's dark in one of my eyes, like I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm also colorblind. As a graphic designer, very inconvenient. I'd like to ignore it, but this happened last year for a few weeks. So my doctor refers me to a specialist. I go to his office and I walk into the waiting room and it is just wall-to-wall pamphlets. MS and nutrition, MS and lifestyle, MS, don't kill yourself. I'm like, what's with all the MS stuff? This doctor's like obsessed with MS. So I walk into his office and he says, you know, Karin, you might have multiple sclerosis. And I'm like, yeah, of course you're gonna say that because you're like obsessed with MS. Whatever, it's what I thought. So he tells me I need an MRI. And I go for the MRI, and let me just say that the basement of St. Michael's Hospital in downtown Toronto offers the same feelings of privacy and dignity as a medical procedure on a subway platform. In the following weeks, my eye goes totally blind, and I'm thinking, no problem, one's enough, right? I learned that you need two for something called depth perception. Very useful for locating such things as walls and stairs. I have to go back to the doctor to get my results, and so I walk into his office, stumbling, disoriented, half blind, and he says, Karin, that thing we talked about, it's happening right now. And I'm like, what do we talk about? You're gonna have to be a lot more specific. And so he hands me a pamphlet and it says, you have multiple sclerosis, dumbass. In the weeks that follow, I have to go back to St. Mike's because that's where the main MS clinic in Toronto is. I'm trying not to be worried about my future, but when I walk into the waiting room, there's a woman in there. She's in a wheelchair. For the first time, there is no difference between her and me. I'm terrified about my future, not just mobility. MS comes for all kinds of abilities, important stuff like cognition, vision, can give you vertigo, tank your energy levels. Right? Stuff that's pretty important for working, right? I've been thinking, what if I can't work in the future? What if I'm not going to be able to take care of myself? So at 28, I make a new plan. I'm not going to be a designer. That's out. I decide I'm going to be a design professor. I think I can hide this illness in academia, and they have something magical called tenure. That's a job for life that you can't get fired from. I'm thinking if I become severely disabled, they can't get rid of me. And this is the only option for me in my future that feels safe. I feel massive pressure to make this happen while I'm literally able. That's my biological clock. I get called in to the neurologist's office, and there on a big screen is my MRI, my brain. Have you seen your brain? There should be a trigger warning for that. I think it's gruesome.
The damaged parts of your brain show up as white, ghostly spots, and there are more and more and more of them with time. They're the ghosts of things I used to be able to do. The ghost of running up and down the stairs, the ghost of making a fast fist, the ghost of fitting the mascara applicator into the tiny, tiny hole of the mascara container. My brain is a haunted house. The MRI captures apparitions, ghosts haunting all the places where neurons used to play, flying around, scaring the parts of my brain that still work. Boo!
2 years after my diagnosis, I'm at Roy Thomson Hall in Toronto for convocation. I'm graduating later than all of my friends because I had to go to school part-time. They call my name to go on stage, and I'm all emotional and tearing up. It's embarrassing, but it was so hard to get here. And so I walk onto the stage, and I walk right up to the podium because I'm giving a speech. I won the Governor General's Medal. I graduated at the top of my class. I won the Graphic Design Medal. I have a full-ride scholarship to study at the Royal College of Art in London, England. It's a good story, right? Because what I learned was that despite my disability, I could still be the best. And that hiding it wasn't that hard. I hadn't overcome the illness. I was totally unable to accept what was happening to me. I lean up to the microphone and I look out at the crowd. I give a trite speech about the privilege of a life in the arts. I do it with a perfectly formed persona. There are now 2 of me. Dream number 2, March 2025, week 5 of my treatment. Well, there are 2 of me in this dream. One of me is downstairs. I'm behind a closed door. I can't see myself, but I know that I'm in there writing. And there's another one of me. I'm upstairs. I'm behind a closed door, but I can see myself. I'm throwing up over the side of a bed. I'm in an infirmary. There's a grand staircase that connects both floors, but neither of me go there. We live separate. You see, because there's 2 of me. There's the me that writes and performs. Hello. And there's the sick me that I keep secret, that is, more often than not, unproductive and drunk. I had to ask myself, is this show getting written as a set of memories while I'm feeling well? Or is the sick me allowed to come down the stairs and write, She's the star of the show, after all. But it's hard to write about being sick while you're feeling sick. But if she doesn't come down the stairs, there's not going to be a show. I am taking you to 1985. Taylor is the coolest kid in my grade 3 class. He wears Vans, he's got a skateboard. I have a big crush. One day, our teacher tells the class that Taylor has diabetes. That means that sometimes he's going to need to eat a cookie in class. I think this is amazing. None of us are allowed to do that, right? I think Taylor is so special. The next year, he goes off to a different school, and so I'm so surprised when on Valentine's Day, he's left a gift for me on the doorstep of my house. It's a stuffed animal raccoon. Stuffed animals were very cool at the time, so he's nailed this gift. And I'm so excited that this boy I likes me back. And I run to tell my mother, and she says, but Taylor has diabetes. If you marry someone who's sick, your life is going to be difficult. The phone rings. It's Taylor. He invites me to a movie. Without even thinking, I say, I think we're too young for that, Taylor. I regret it immediately. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why I said it. Of course I want to go to a movie with Taylor. I think my brain found the fastest way to get out of a situation that my mom said is bad. At 9 years old, I was diagnosed with ableism. It's genetic. I learned that people come in 2 categories, sick and healthy, and we don't intermingle. So fast forward almost 20 years when I'm diagnosed with MS, I'm shocked by the category change. I'm like, can they do this? Don't they know? I'm in the other one. And when I was diagnosed, I was scared, as I've mentioned. But more than that, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I felt like I had failed in some kind of way. I told my mother about my diagnosis, sitting beside her on my parents' back patio, and she just rubbed my back hard like she was rubbing a stain out of the carpet. I asked her not to tell anyone, and of course she agreed, and I always felt betrayed by that, because I wish she just said it was okay. So for the next 7 years, I tell one friend I have MS. And for the 10 years that follow that, I slowly tell, best friends. And I swear them to secrecy. I hide my MS for 17 years. And I could say it's about workplace discrimination, and that's real and that's true, but if I'm honest, I just don't want people to know. I'm afraid, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? And of course I'm worried about that, because I'm an ableist. Getting a disability doesn't change that. It just means that you don't value yourself. Now, 20 years since my diagnosis, I'm not ashamed anymore, but I am angry because what I was taught just isn't true. There are no categories. It's a continuum, and we're all on it. The only thing that separates the healthy and the sick is time. We are back in 2018. I'm 40 years old and still very hungover from my club night out. I'm at Sunnybrook Hospital and I'm in the ICU. It's nighttime. The patients are asleep. My mother's not asleep. She's unconscious. She had a hemorrhagic stroke. That's a brain bleed. Her nurse swivels in her chair and looks at me and says, "You know, when your mother wakes up, she might not know who you are." My mom is unconscious for days, and one morning I'm at her bedside and she opens up her eyes and says, "Hi, Karin, I love you." After the stroke, she knows who I am, but she doesn't know what happened a few minutes ago. She has permanent short-term memory loss, and of the many things that she loses her independence. Now, in the 10 plus years between the arrival of my disability and hers, my mom had become a keen reader on MS, unlike me, who wanted nothing to do with it. And I remember one day she says to me, "Karin, I think you're in denial." I denied it. I hate to be wrong. Of course, she was right. And whenever I think about it, I love her for saying that. She accepted me and my illness long before I could. Dream number 3, March 2025, week 6 of my treatment. I'm walking to my friend's house. She's on permanent medical leave. I decide I don't want to use a map. I want to find my way using my intuition. The same way that I do when I'm writing. So I walk, and I walk, and I walk, and I walk. And eventually, I realize that I don't know where I am. I'm far away from my friend's house, and I'm in a dangerous area. I'm scared. I wake up, anxious from the dream, and I realize where I was walking to. I was walking to Downsview Park, and that is where the annual MS Charity Walk in Toronto happens. And I know that because I looked it up the day before for the first time, because I never wanted to do the MS Walk. If I did the MS Walk, everybody would know I have MS. It's so dangerous. The exposure, the disclosure on a citywide stage, I'm not doing that. I think the show is my MS Walk. And it is scary, but my intuition brought me here, so it's where I'm supposed to be. We are going overseas to London, England. It's 2012. I am 35 years old. I'm in the final year of my PhD at the Royal College of Art. I've just given a talk at a fancy conference. My name's on the cover of a design magazine. I live in an upstairs flat that I recently shared with my ex. My PhD is due soon, at the end of autumn term. I am stressed out of nowhere. Massive relapse. I don't turn my PhD in. I lose feeling in my body from the chest down. That includes my private bits. Where I do feel it is my ego. My neurologist prescribes IV steroids, and I reckon the whole rest of my life would have turned out different if he'd asked just one screening question. I would have told him about my grandfather. He was known as eccentric. In his 80s, he was finally diagnosed with bipolar disorder. or as we knew it then, manic depression. I don't know when the steroids caused the mania, but I know at some point everything feels electric. And you know that feeling that you get when you're falling in love, that euphoria? I feel it all the time. I love running in the park and working out and sculpting my body and adorning it with clothes and jewelry. And the energy feels amazing, but also it's too much. So I drink more than I ever have to reach a calm that I can never get to. I black out a lot because you see, I can never sleep. I can only pass out. I take money from the cash point, whatever card works. I stop paying my bills. I'm sending out an energy that attracts men to me. I can't hold ideas in my head. I repeat myself a lot. I stop paying my bills. I stop going to school. My mother says, "Come home, Karin." She doesn't mean to visit. She means leave London. In the springtime, I go back to Toronto for a visit. One evening, I'm at my parents' house, on my own, upstairs, and I'm about to go downstairs and I put my hand on the banister, and when I step down, my leg just buckles. And I'd like to ignore it, except that it happened earlier that day. And I stand on the step knowing that the disease just changed from sensory, like my numb body, invisible, that 7 years in, it's coming from my legs. I go back to London and my neurologist prescribes, any guesses? Now my mania is on steroids. Carpe diem meets nihilism. I don't care what happens to me. My life is already over. Falling drunk on the floor on the off license, drinking wine from the bottle, walking down the high street, going home with men that I don't know, falling drunk in the gutter, getting onto the bus. I don't know when it begins and I don't know when it ends, but I slowly start to notice my life's a shambles. I am broke. Creditors keep calling. My PhD is abandoned. My visa is expiring. I feel like someone else inhabited my body and took it out for a joyride. I am grossed out by the men that I've been with. In the autumn, I go and see my neurologist and I tell him, bewildered, about the last 10 months of my life. And he says, "Oh, that can happen." Dream number 4, March 2025, week 8 of my treatment. If you've been in school as long as me, you will never escape the failing school dream. So I'm back in high school and I'm failing because I've stopped showing up and I'm embarrassed about it. And so I decide I'm going to skip school again. In the dream, I tell my mom I'm failing and she says, "That's okay. If you don't graduate, you can take the summer off. You can relax. You can take care of yourself, Karin." And I'm like, I don't want to take care of myself, Mom. I want to get on with my life. See, the first 2 months of my treatment are brutal. And every day that I'm in bed, instead of writing, I feel like I'm failing. I am taking you to the spring of 2020. I'm sorry. Nobody wants to go back. Now, I wish that I had a story with more action for you, but it's me in my home office, sitting at my desk in the pandemic. So I'm 42 years old. I live in East End, Toronto, at the top of a steep road, and my office window overlooks the road, and I love watching the people go by, especially this man in his 80s who rides his bike tirelessly up and down the hill every day. It's like the little things that keep you going, you know? Now, at this point, it's been 2 years since I quit my PhD because of my relapse and my mother's stroke. It's been 8 years since I quit because of mania year, as I call it. The PhD is now a mess of 13 years of research. All of it makes me feel like a total failure. But I decide I'm going to finish it because I don't have a choice. The stakes got high at my university. I'm up for tenure. Now, what that means is that a group of professors are going to decide whether I'm good enough and I'm going to get a job for life that I can't be fired from, or I'm going to get fired. These are the options. Crazy. So I tuck in to the PhD, and a weird thing happens because a PhD is the story of your research, and turns out I'm having trouble telling mine without explaining why I'm so fascinated by design for people with visual impairments. My tenure application, same problem. It's the story of your academic career, and mine makes no sense because there's so much of me that I leave out. Now, at this point, I've hidden the illness for a long time, but from my employer, the university, I've hidden it for 7 years because I think if they know about it, it's going to jeopardize the chance of me getting a permanent faculty position because discrimination happens and it's pretty hard to prove. Now, I've gotten away with it for this long, right? But I just decide that I want to be judged as myself. And so I write about my experiences with vision impairment in my PhD, and I write about having MS all over my tenure application. I dared them to discriminate against me. I've hidden it now for 17 years, so these disclosures are risky, yet totally anticlimactic, just uploading PDFs to Microsoft SharePoint. But it freed me. And 2 years into the pandemic, I got my PhD, and they gave me my tenured professor job. It was the first time that a relapse hadn't gotten in my way. And I went back to school the next autumn with a newfound confidence. And I was going back to school in-person teaching for the first time since the pandemic had started. I felt safe about it because the bivalent vaccine had just come out of nowhere. Massive relapse. Vaccines can cause relapses. Now, as I've mentioned, usually during relapses, I'm unproductive and drunk. This time, I was productive. One evening while drunk. I wanted to write about what it feels like to be in a relapse while I'm in a relapse. I did that only once, and I'd like to read it to you. And I'm going to rest my legs. I drink every night in this relapse because to be dizzy when you're drunk is easy. To be dizzy when you're sober is horror. How have I not smashed my car into the one before me? I can't say, though I've come close. I missed turns, didn't see the light. What was that street? Where was I going? I feel like I'm behind something, inside something. I'm trapped in myself. I open my eyes wider, but it makes no difference. I can't get out.
I focus on what's ahead of me, but it moves. Everything shimmers. Everything around me feels fake. I know I exist. I don't think I exist because I'm nowhere. I'm not here. I'm waiting to come back. In my dream the other night, I was held prisoner by a violent man in an abandoned dormitory, wall to wall with beds. Unlike my daily sick bed, in my dream, I stood defiant on, not in, on the bed, ready to fight. If dreams present your struggles in a safer way for you to process, then what's the worst reality that this nightmare shields me from? It's my decay in real time. My human body and its vast capability is harnessed in a war on me. I have no say. I don't know where it will happen. I don't know when. But it is here again, and I'm getting smaller. The parts of me I can control are less and less. I'm becoming a little part of a bigger thing that I don't know anymore. I step down on each stair, and I'm going to fall, but I don't. But I always think I will. I walk, and my leg gives out. It's not mine anymore. It's just there, something separate. I can't trust it. I can't trust either of them. And there's a feeling in my legs. It's never quiet, like this strange energy that won't turn off. And no one can tell. A legless life feels a fantasy, but they are there. My responsibility, my appendage, my burden, but not my way. My left leg is a crutch for my right leg, a crutch for my left. Each step is lucky. Each step unsure. I will walk until I fall. Now, there's one big difference between this relapse and the ones that come before, which is that this time I'm not alone. I meet him on Bumble. That's a dating app. He's a drummer who loves to ski. I figure half his life is sitting. We've got a shot. Now, while we're together, he develops an autoimmune condition because they're contagious. He takes care of me when I need it. I take care of him when he needs it. Life is not more difficult, like my mother warned in 1985. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. 2 years ago, I left the pandemic behind later than most. I decided that I wanted to tell my story. I took off my mask. I took an improv class. Dream number 5, April 2025, week 9 of my treatment. I walk into my house with my mother, and I feel proud to share my life with her. I take my shoes off to keep the house clean, and I notice that she keeps hers on, but I don't mind. It's the opposite of my house growing up, where everything had to be perfect. Then a woman walks in, and she walks right up to me, and there's something about her arms. She has a disability. She looks at me and says, "My medical condition has shown me that I'm good enough." And what she means is that even though her arms don't work, she can run. That she might have this disability, but yeah, can she run? She's me upside down. My legs don't work the way I want them to,
But that's okay, because I can write, and I'm writing again. Well, we made it. August 2025. The end of this story is me and you. My first disclosures were quiet, but this one feels loud. I'm not hiding anymore. I got on a stage, and everyone here, you're now a part of my life. I can't tell my secrets if no one is listening, and I thank you. Now, this is my first summer of Fringe Festivals, sort of, because I realized that almost 30 years ago, I was in a Fringe dance festival. I was a dancer. So here I am back on stage with a different body, but also with the same body, because it's me. Do I love myself? I'm not sure, but I don't hate myself anymore. Am I in denial about the illness? No. But sometimes I like to forget about it when I can. Do I inhabit my body, even the diseased parts? Not completely, but I'm trying. Dream number 6, April 2025, week 10 of my treatment. I'm trying to get into the rehearsal space, but something is blocking my way. But I find a way around, and I run into this huge open room with tall ceilings and a hardwood floor. There are dancers everywhere. We're warming up to perform. And I'm dancing, moving, turning. I'm not fighting against my body. I inhabit it all the way to my fingertips. There's one of me, not two. I feel like I've won something, but it's not a competition. I feel like I've made a comeback, like I've come back from something. And I stand at the edge of the dance floor and I look out at this wonderful community. I have tears running down my face. I really love to win, I say out loud. No, not be the best. I win every time I come here. I win every time I show. Thank you. Thank you.